Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Food House Nation. Today, I'm going to be talking to you guys about knife skills. Having the proper knife skills is not only going to help you when you're cutting and actually working with the knife, but it's also going to help prevent a lot of injuries. If you don't know how to hold the knife properly, or if you're working with a dull knife, it could slip and you can cut yourself, or you could even strain your hand. That's why it's really important to know how to hold the knife, how to use the knife properly. That way you can be more efficient and be safer. So the first thing we're going to start with is the cutting board. So the first thing you want to do when you're dealing with the cutting board is you want to make sure that it's not sliding all over the place. If you notice that it's sliding all over the place, what you can simply do is pick it up, place a damp towel under it or even a paper towel, and then put the cutting board right back on top. What this is going to do is prevent your cutting board from sliding all over the place when you're making your cuts, when you're placing things on it, and it's going to be overall a lot safer. The second thing I want to talk to you guys about is your knife. If your knife is really dull, it's going to be hard to cut through things, and that's going to lead to some dangerous situations. Remember, you want the knife to be doing the work. If you're having to struggle with cutting through something, it's because your knife really isn't sharp enough and you could slip and really hurt yourself. A lot of people, when they start holding a knife, they usually grab it from the handle and they try to cut downward in a motion. That's gonna strain your wrist and it's gonna lead to overall bad practices. You don't wanna do that. So what you wanna do is put your pointer finger under the tip of the blade. You wanna have your thumb resting right on top, and the whole handle is gonna kinda rest in your palm. And what you wanna do is create back and forth rocking motion cuts. Not up and down, you want them back and forth, just like that. What this cutting technique will do is kind of alleviate all of the stress off of your wrist. If you're cutting like this, you're gonna strain yourself. But if you do a nice, gentle, kind of a rocking boat motion, the knife is just gonna cut through things like butter. Another thing you want to be really careful of is what you're doing with this hand. So if this hand is cutting with the knife, and this hand's holding something, what can potentially happen is obviously I'm gonna slice my fingers. So you wanna do with your left hand or your right hand, whichever hand is not holding the knife, you wanna create kind of a bear claw. And what this will do is create a barrier between your finger and the blade. So that way you can just follow along with whatever you're cutting with the fingers that are kind of guiding it, instead of them being out and in the way and potentially really hurting yourself. So the next thing I want to go over with you guys is some basic cuts. So if I take my white onion, I'm gonna notice that there's a root right here. I want to keep the root, cut off this end right here, because that root is gonna hold it together. So let's go ahead, cut off that end, cut it right down the middle so that you have this root still there. Next, we want to go ahead and peel our onion, getting all of that extra skin off. Now that our onion is nice and peeled, what we want to do is we want to take our blade, covering it with our hand. We're going to go across and cut through right down the middle. We're going to do this 3 times. So you want to cover the top of the onion with your hand. We're gonna go ahead and make 1, 2, and if you can make a 3rd one, if not, it's okay. All right, now that we have the cuts down the middle of our onion, what we wanna do next is go over the top of it, and the root end is gonna actually hold it together. We wanna go over the top, across this way, long ways. With our bear claw, we're not gonna wanna cut our fingers. Now that we have the cuts long ways, we're just gonna go right over the top and just get that nice rocking back motion. It's gonna give us a nice dice. Now another technique that's widely used in kitchens is a mince. Right here I have some ginger root. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and mince it for you guys. It's really easy to peel this actually. A lot of people think like, oh, I need a peeler. No, you can actually use a spoon. So all you do is lightly go over the top and starts peeling away the skin. Once the skin's peeled off, then you can go ahead and do your mince cut. I'm just gonna peel all this off. Now another cut that's widely used in kitchens is a mince cut. All a mince cut is a really finely diced anything really. Like right here, I'm gonna mince up some ginger root for you. All you're gonna do is you're just gonna do little fine cuts. The more you mince it out, the more the flavors come out. You can do this with garlic, you can do it with ginger. It's really heavily used in garlic actually, because that really brings out the flavors. I just didn't have any, so I'm gonna use ginger root. So all you wanna do is just keep going over it and over it so that it gets really, really tiny. You can take your hand actually and use it as a guide over the top of the blade. That's what I do. It just helps me go ahead and cut up whatever I'm cutting. And see how everything is just very finely cut. And there you go. That is minced ginger root. So the next cut I'm gonna go over with you guys is the julienne cut. The julienne cut is also known as the matchstick cut. The reason for this, I'm gonna show you right now, is when it's done, it kind of looks like little matchsticks. So I'm gonna cut my carrot in half, and you wanna cut off one end. Or not an end, but one side of it so it's flat. So for this, I'm gonna do this side. Cut it down so that this side is nice and flat and it won't really roll anywhere. Now that we have that side nice and flat, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right down the middle. And basically what I wanna do is you're gonna cut it down the middle again, this way, long ways. By the time you're done, you're gonna be left with a julienne cut or matchsticks. And by the end of it, you have some julienne cut matchstick carrots. These kind of carrots are really good for pickling. You can also use them with hot wings, or they're actually really good by themselves too. The next cut I'm going to demonstrate for you guys is the chiffonade cut. This is generally used on herbs. I don't have any today, so I'm going to do it on a green onion. So what I want to do is I want to get my onion really tightly together. That way when I'm cutting it, I can have nice, even cuts. I want to go at an angle and just do little tiny cuts. That way everything is very even and nicely proportioned. Now what these are good for, you can use these as a garnish, maybe over some chicken teriyaki or any kind of Asian dish. Chiffonade cut is really good with herbs and they're perfect for garnishing. Also, if you guys noticed a lot in my videos, I use the PREPDECK. This thing is an amazing kitchen tool. It's made my life easier and you should definitely check it out. I do a full review of this kitchen tool right here. Just go ahead and give this link a click and you can check out the full review. If you want to go ahead and check out the PREPDECK, just click the link below and it'll take you right to the website and you guys can get one for yourself today. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you like what you've seen, go ahead and drop a comment below, like this video, share, and of course subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys again. I'll see you next time.